Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
No, we're good. We're good. I just
Bro.
won't have fun match stuff because I loaded the old game hard.
It's okay.
In the top right part of the map, we have our yellow Protoss player.
He is known as Loopyloo. Loopyloo 77 for those of you hanging out in the chat.
Yep, and in the bottom left, his opponent, spawning as a red Protoss player, it is Day 9 Ladder Clan's Gurthang.
So, Gurthang is a very, very interesting type of Protoss, I think. He's actually the kind of guy who um, he'll play fast games in order to turn them into long ones. I am convinced of this after watching him play a few times.
Like, he's one of those people that allows the cheese to fail and then turns it into a really scrappy macro game.
He could do that. More than likely, like, for example, like he was describing to us before, someone sends all of their workers to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He holds it off. He's not going to follow up with the 4-gate. He's going to build Void Race. He wants to get to those big top tier units. That's why he's here.
I see.
That's what I mean by it. But he might actually do that. I don't know how one could do that in a way that would actually get them to endgame. Actually, I think usually if you throw a cheese, you end up with dead before you get anywhere.
So cool. Looks pretty standard so far. We got a gateway for each player, both taking one gas. 2 man in it for Mr. Gurthang. Nothing too exciting to see yet. Gurthang throwing a probe, just running across the map here. Gonna get a quick scout off. Cybercore timing's on point. Still too early to tell. Gurthang's a little supply boxed here.
That's always a little bit frustrating early on, but it wasn't for too long, so it shouldn't affect his build too much. Loopyloo is actually grabbing his gas a little bit later. Still not sure where he's going with that. A big thing with any Protoss player, any of you out there who might be new to like either watching Protoss play or analyzing it, you really want to pay attention to what they do with their Chrono Boost. If you see a Chrono Boost going into the Cybernetics score, it really means one of two things. It means that they're going for an early Warp Gate timing, or they want to build a Dark Shrine and kill you with it.
Dark Shrine.
Generally, one or the other.
But usually, if you see that, it's a great indicator that they're not going for Stargate Tech. Now, Loopyloo, on the other hand, here, he's got a couple gateways coming up, and this is a Forge. And he was saying he was a random player. Forge at this timing, very, very unusual in PvP, which means he's got his own style going. But here's the thing. Even if a person is not following a prescribed build, they all have a style. They have something they're trying to get to, something they want to cause to happen. And they'll have the general shape of that in their head. And it looks like for him, that's fast expanding. He wants to get that expansion out. Now, for Gurthang, it's about murdering your opponent in a horribly fast and vicious way in a manner that defies my expectations. So good for him. Oh, he's going to be ultra dick about it. So this projection field goes across that gap.
Extra dick.
Extra dick. Now, actually, you can only warp in like 2 zealots at a time, so it's not the most efficient way to do this. But it definitely scares your opponent. He's not going to be happy about that.
Definitely, especially if he has expanded first into PvP. Not advisable. But Loopyloo going for +1 here. He's got a significant number of units out front. So he's prepared for, honestly, whatever's going to hit him here. Zealots, though. If he warps him in from behind, could get him a little surprise before the wall's up.
Yeah, and, you know, this is an interesting maneuver because he's already got... he's about to have vision of that. Unfortunately, a little too early. Oh no, he's going to lose the sentries without a contest.
That's an expensive gas loss there.
Oh. Well, here's the thing. Even though that did occur just now, the fact of the matter is most of Loopyloo's money has actually been invested in these buildings, not so much his army. The only thing he's working in his favor at the moment is that a bunch of gas was just spent on sentries, but this army from Gurthang should actually grow at a slightly faster rate than Loopyloo's until he starts to saturate this natural. Which, ooh, Guardian Shield actually coming into play here. We'll help out a little bit unless Gurthang can get up to Blink Deck. But we can see behind this, he's not going to go all in. He's pressuring, but he's actually getting expansion.
Good, yep, and he's gonna send this off pretty easily here. He lost maybe a pylon or two, but Gurthang's losing steam.
Yeah, I really think he actually should back off now. I don't think he's accomplishing a whole lot by doing this. Though, if his opponent thinks he's left when he hasn't, he might be able to gain a lead slowly over time.
He's gonna try and push in again here. And, a few more stalkers, but Guardian Shield's good.
No, if he focuses that down, yeah, now this is actually pretty problematic for Loopyloo. The army has still gained enough momentum. Yeah, this is the frustrating thing about wall-offs against Protoss and Terran. You can't really deal with ranged units.
Yeah,
They'll
unfortunately.
just break all your stuff out of your range.
Right.
And he's even warped in some stalkers in the back, which are fighting with the Mothership Core back there. He's going to depower this newly created warp gate. Kind of helping Loopyloo a little bit that he's got a few units he can just break, but... well, time is on Loopy's side here. If he can just keep holding out, eventually he will have a bigger army.
Right.
Or a really large bank that he can't spend.
He was quick enough to drop a photon overcharge before the Mothership Core was down, so this will help the defense a little bit, but...
No, killing that pylon is actually going to be the biggest factor in the defense here if you can pull it off. Because it'll actually cut down on the growth of Gurthang's army a little bit.
Yep. Looking pretty painful so far. Gurthang's getting his expansion up while he's got this mini contain at the front.
Yeah. The end result of this is Gurthang's actually ahead in worker supply. So he's sort of bought enough time, convinced Loopyloo to throw enough structures down that he's actually ahead in economy. By a little bit. Of course, he doesn't know that, and unfortunately now he's an upgrade behind. As that did actually... No, not like one upgrade, 2 upgrades. He has 1-1. If that army gets any larger, it will destroy Gurthang's army easily.
Yep, not focusing on upgrades. Especially when your opponent is one up on you. That's going to change the game, as we're going to see here. If you can get a good, decent engagement. Almost caught these stalkers. Not enough energy for a second force field. The Zealots.
Loopy's grabbing Blink. This army's going to be really terrifying in about a minute or two.
Yeah, if Gurthang spends any more time here, all these stalkers are going to be forfeit.
Yeah. Still, though, Gurthang's supplies is continuing to grow. He's starting to grab immortals, and his bank is getting massive. 1,000 minerals.
Huge bank, busy microwing at the front. Didn't exactly spend any of that stuff. He's also supply blocked once again. Gonna take care of that with 2 more pylons, but... So he's he's not ahead too far in army and worker supply now. Things have pretty much evened out, but...
Yeah, it looks like we'll be actually moving on to the rare, but still somewhat common 2-base stage of the Protoss versus Protoss matchup. Now, what will be really unusual is if either of them manage to secure a third. That doesn't really happen much, but when it does, you get to see such beautiful things as Colossus, 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 Archon, 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 versus some weird combination of air units and immortals, in some cases. Suiciding stalkers, armies at each other, so they can trade those out. It's good times. And if you're really lucky, maybe you'll even see a carrier. Maybe one.
Carriers, I like carriers.
Then the other guy will build Tempests, and then they won't build carriers anymore.
Yeah, a little bit more range than carriers, I would say.
Yep, more range, extra damage. Very dangerous.
The Gurthang doing the impossible, securing a third. Loopy hasn't pushed out to check it out yet, so if that gets up and running, Loopy's going to be in pretty big trouble. And Gurthang dropping a proxy pylon here at the watchtower, just in case. He's got several gateways here that aren't quite transformed yet.
Yeah.
There we go. He got him.
Gurthang's getting 2 forges down now. I'm pretty pleased to see that because this upgrade advantage is growing for Loopyloo, and if this gets to 2 upgrade lead difference stays there. This army, you can almost think of it as being 50% larger at that point. It's that much of a power difference.
Right. And he's pushing out now that +2 has finished.
His opponent still has 0-0. Uh-oh. This is 3 upgrade advantage over nothing. Well, okay, no, he was just going to clean up the watchtower and go home. Okay. So this is playing into Gurthang's hands if he doesn't actually do something.
Yep, he's going to have to take advantage of his advantage before too long. They're both going Robo, both getting Immortals, so it's going to be a fun positioning battle. Loopy checking the west side of the map, not seeing anything. Checking the gold, not finding anything. Gurthang's got his third up and operational. Probe's mining. A little bit of an income lead here.
Yeah, not quite enough to make that investment back just quite yet, but oh, army is discovered out in the middle of the map. Cleans up that zealot, no problem. It's going to move down into the natural here. And what do we got to defend? We have 3 immortals, 3 sentries warping in, decent number of stalkers, and a few zealots. Zealots are not really optimally positioned here, but the same actually goes for Loopyloo's army. And he's actually going to walk around and check on the third. I imagine he's not 100% certain that it's actually there. He's going to be quite pleased to see this, though, as this is still a relatively undefended location.
Yep, Probe's moving down, drop reinforcement pylons right in front of Gurthang's pylons.
Oh, he's actually putting pylons down right in front of his army, I think.
Ooh,
oh,
no cancels.
Kind of hard to get those off when you see that happening. You're just going to be like,
off.
warp in units, go!
Immortals moving up, stalkers.
This is actually a really awful engagement location for Gurthang. His army is entirely funneled into a choke point. His opponent can actually spread out. But force fields are awesome, and he's cut up some of the army and killed off a couple units. Once we get out into open ground, I think the advantage goes, whoa, blinking on top of the army of Gurthang in order to kill the Mothership Corps. I'm not really sure I like this at all. There's 3 immortals here. They're just tearing this army to pieces. I don't care what your upgrade advantage is. If you're down the immortal count like that with such a stalker-heavy army, it hurts.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there. Gurthang definitely having the immortal advantage. Bonus damage versus armored. Stalkers are armored.
But, yeah, but still, he's backing off. Gurthang's not pursuing, although he probably should. But, time's going by. He's got to the point where he has 1-1 now as well. I think that finished right during the middle of the fight, which, good for him. That could have gone a little worse if he hadn't. But, he's getting Colossus now as well. Ooh.
Gurthang's army supply slowly growing, dwarfing Mr. Loopy's after that engagement. He's running on borrowed time now. Gurthang's just going to spiral out of into control, rather. Can't really spiral out of control.
Loopy trying to gain an advantage with a zealot warp in. Been picked up on and responded to immediately by Gurthang. It's not going to do anything.
Going to
take care of all his defending zealots alive.
Mm-hmm. No probes lost there. And it's got a Colossus. This is gonna hurt, especially if Loopy's army clumps up.
One big part of that too was the fact that he blinked on top of the army. It's like it is something you can do when you're very far ahead, and it's very powerful in that circumstance. But if things are a bit iffy, the defensive blinks are just that much more valuable. And now that I think about that, he probably could have won that fight, or at least made him trade most of his army out.
Right. If he positioned the Immortals properly, all that fun stuff, I think, definitely would have gone much more different. But
stuff happens. Anyway, here we go. He's moving up into the natural choke area. The force fields here actually might help Loopyloo out a little bit. Unfortunately, range is awesome. Wasn't able to quite get away from that Colossus. Still took kind of an even fight.
Still the upgrade advantage here. Gurthang's trying to catch up, but he's got so much army.
Yeah, this is a tough one. There's a Colossus out now, so it's going to help out with the zealots a little bit, but this is probably still just a situation where Loopyloo really just wants Gurthang to leave him alone. He doesn't want the fight right now, and Gurthang's saying, I don't care. I'm going to walk right up to the front of your base, and I'm going to punch you in the face a lot.
Loopy's range is not complete. It's going to be pain in the butt here. Moral's trying to chunk down on some of these stalkers, but the Zealots moving in, getting a nice surround. Colossus running for high ground, but...
Moral's getting vaporized. Pushes him back in the back of the base.
Oof. Not looking good for Loopy.
Oh, Colossus goes down. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he's got a Dark Shrine building in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game 1 goes to Gurthang.
It's actually a very unique PvP. You don't really get to see strategies branching out of the whole fast expand thing.
Yeah, no, it was interesting, especially in PvP. Usually somebody's picked to go for an early aggression build, and that's it. Rock, paper, scissors, it's done. But